Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is May 4th and I am back with Create Every Day in May. So in today's video we will be making a card using some awesome techniques that Timmy has taught us on YouTube. Every time Tim Holtz is in a scrapbook expo thing, he always demonstrates his products or Ranger products, as we all know, and I wish I could meet this man one day because he is so creative. So anyway, I have a base here that I'm going to be doing some technique that I'll show you in a bit, and it's going to be the base or a mat for this card here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our stamp set. Whichever stamp set you want to use is fine. And also, if you are a paranoid person and don't want to dirty your stamps, well, maybe this is not the technique for you, but I was like mind blown when I seen this technique. So I have this Distress Paint and Picket Fence right here, and it's just a dabber bottle, and you apply this according to what Timmy told me. If I am correct, you just kind of dab this on here like so, and we're going to be creating a background. So you just rub this paint on here, and this technique I think is pretty old because this video was old, but I was like, oh my goodness, how awesome is that? Oops, and I'm dropping my stamp. So you apply the thing on there, the paint, and then you just start stamping. So let me make sure I get this coated evenly, and you just continue to stamp all over the page, being mindful of wherever you might be putting your sentiment. So I want to add this over here on this corner. Just press down and careful when you lift. I'm just going to create a background for this card because I will be putting a little image on foam tape. So let me make sure I can see exactly where I already put it. Put this one, put it right. Oop, I don't want to get it on the stamp because on the block it's wet. So let me clean off my stamp, and you have to make sure you clean off your stamps right after using it. If not, the paint will dry on it. So let me go ahead and clean this off, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I already finished stamping out my images on here as desired. So at first it looks like there's nothing there, but there is some flower images stamped out with a little sentiment that says aloha on there. Now comes the fun part. So again, you will be needing the Distress Paint to do this. You just stamp your images out in this medium, and remember to clean your stamps. Here comes the fun part, like I said. So if I follow Timmy correctly on his tutorial, we're going to be needing some inks, and I like working with mustard seed. I like working with is it peacock feathers? Yeah, peacock feathers. And we're going to go ahead and get out the picked raspberry and maybe this wilted violet, whatever. So those are like my favorite colors to work with. And we are going to be starting with this mustard seed. So I know at first it kind of looks like, oh, there's nothing here. So what are you going to show us? You've probably seen this technique already. If not, prepared to be mind blown like I was. I was like, oh my goodness. So you just kind of start blending. And he does recommend you use the craft sheet under your work surface when you blend, and I kind of bent the corner up here because it'll help you blend better. It kind of helps your dabber glide. So I'm just passing on a bit of info, but I do find that you can also use a parchment paper. It doesn't work as, you know, this does. It's like the same thing, but not really. So yeah, I'm going to stop there with the yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to picked raspberry. And I love this color right here, and I believe that's his favorite as well. And by the way, I'm talking about Tim Holtz when I say Timmy. You know, me and Timmy are homies now. Oh, Lord. Like, I've never met him in person, but yeah. I mean, I did meet him in Joann's one time. I was walking down his display aisle, and there he was. I just took down the sign and took a picture with him. I took a selfie with Tim Holtz. I mean, it was his picture on the little bulletin board thing that they be having. And my baby was like, Mom, you're embarrassing me. There's people watching us. So, yeah, you just come in here and start blending. And, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that after I stamped these things out, I went and I dried it with my heating tool. Because if you go directly to blending after you stamp your images, you will blend everything everywhere. You'll make a hot mess. So do dry it with a heating tool, a hair dryer. And this is the part I hate about this. Taking them off of here. And I chipped the nail trying to do that. Just great. So let me go in with this peacock feathers. As you can see, the images pop through. Of course, you would stamp this as best as you can. I find that I really don't know how to stamp images real crisp, you know, like some people do. And I had a hard time with this one wooden stamp that I purchased from Michael's one time. Oh my goodness. That stamp right there. Oh, I tried stamping it out a couple times. I inked and inked and inked and make sure like I covered everything, and it did not work for me, guys. I was like, oh. And it's one of them big block stamps, and I made sure I put the CPR pressure on it like somebody told me to do, but I still couldn't stamp it out. So maybe it was the stamp that was defected. It had like little bubbles in it, and I kind of like used the nail file. I got it on clearance for $1.50, so that's why I didn't really care about messing it up. So I kind of filed it down, and yeah, it didn't work at all. So all right, and I don't know if you can see this here. If you can see that, how these cool little flowers and the sentiment popped up, like they just appeared like magic from behind this background. Now, a tip from Mr. Timmy, look at that, really, Liz, is that you come in with a dark color to ground your the page. So I'm going to come in here with this violet right here and just kind of come in on the edges, and he recommends you do that just to kind of ground your page a bit, you know, the color. So I'm just going to like come into some areas with it like so. And oh my goodness, I just discovered these inks and I had to collect them all. I hope he does make the Distress Oxides and minis, because they are so easy to store. I mean, you just go to Michael's, and Michael's has been having some awesome sales on their storage. You buy yourself this little 4x6 photo case, and you could fit 3 sets in here. I was kind of OCD, or like I didn't really want to separate my sets. So what I did is I just numbered them on the bottom, like by kits. Well, this one I didn't even number because this one was from a Halloween one that I picked up. This was the first ones I did. But the rest of them are numbered, like kit 1, kit 2, and I numbered them all. And I kind of tried to separate them into groups, like not groups, but color coded them. So now I'm going to come in with the Distress Mister thing, and it's just water. And I want big gobs on here, or big drops. So let me make sure I unlock this first. And I'm just going to like press and hold as he suggests to get that cool big drops of water on my paper, because I prefer the big drops over little fine mist. So then I'm just going to come in here and kind of lift up the excess water just so that it doesn't go everywhere. And I'm going to go off camera so I can dry this up with my heating tool, and I will be right back. Okay, so here it is, all dry already. I oversprayed with some glimmer mist. I kind of just went in to give it a bit of a sparkle. And now if you can see my images, like I used a clear stamp, so it doesn't really it didn't really like, I guess it's just my end, my error. You see how the lines are not crisp? Well, I probably used too much distress paint, or didn't apply, or applied too much pressure. Oh Lord, I can't talk this morning. So yeah, you can see there the, you know, the kind of the paint kind of just, it looks like it went everywhere. It kind of didn't stamp clear. But yep, Tim Holtz does have the video on how to stamp with the cool techniques with this. And if you can see the background, it kind of looks like the oxides effect there. And that is so, so awesome. Like, I just love the way this looks. It looks very tropical, very cool. So anyway, this, I'm just gonna mount it onto one of these little pre-made pre-made cards. But before I do that, I want to ink these edges a bit because I think it'll be better. And I don't know why I always gear towards the yellow around the edges on everything. Like when I stamp an image, I always outline it in yellow. So let me just come in here with a little bit of this yellow. And be careful when you are using distress inks that you don't do what I just did on here. You know, careful that you don't touch it and mess it up. But like I told you all in my previous video, I am good at messing things up sometimes. So just come in here with this distress like that. Okay. And I am going to be using some double-sided tape. I'm going to mount it with it right here. I already have it on the back. And I'm going to make sure that I center this as best as I can. I always have a hard time doing this. Okay, I think that's good. Just kind of press it down. And I think I should have done this before I put that down, but I just want to add a little bit of like that dark stuff around the edges there, just to kind of just like that. I don't want it to be too bright. Okay. All right. And I have this little image right here from this little girl. And this is a stamp set that I own. And you all know what's up with these things. These are from the infamous Alley. I'm just going to put her right there. And there we have it. So this is what my card looks like. My sentiment is down here. I'm going to come in here and stamp it in black because I don't think this looks like all that, because you can't really see the sentiment. But this is the card we created today, and it's just a little cute, fancy, summer themed card that, you know, you just come in here, write your sentiment, and yeah, it's just an awesome technique. I thought when I seen Tim Holtz do it, girl, like, guys, you got to see the way Tim Holtz did it. Like, I was like, what? That is freaking awesome. Like, I went to almost a couple Joann's. Well, I went to 2 different Joann's and like Michael's trying to find these distress paints, and I only found like that brass and silver color one, and I got it, but I was like, that's not the one I want. I tried it with that, and it kind of looks like if you just stamped over. Now this is awesome because it just pops through when you're doing the card, and it's very awesome. So this was my Create Every Day in May collab hosted by John's Crazy Life. So make sure you check out the rest of the ladies in this collab and show them some love as well. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.